Hi there. I am Jennifer Elizabeth Masters, and I'm a soul sculptor. I help you break the mold of the past so that you can live a happy, magical life, doing what you love, enjoying life in happiness and bliss. It's what we're all meant to do. So today, I am in the middle of doing a series about love, and love is something that I've had plenty of experience with, both going up and down, heartbreak and joy. And, life can be messy sometimes, and my life has certainly been messy. One of the things that I wanted to talk about this particular video is about why we need to know when to let go. It's like the song, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and know when to walk away. We need to know when it's time to let it all go. Somebody's crawling around under my covers here. Hang on one second. I am looking for this video so I can share it. This is a love series. Here we are in February, and it's Valentine's Day coming up, and a lot of people are thinking about love. So this is a great time to talk about it. So one of the things that I know that I have done is I have hung on for dear life to love. I have hung on for dear life to a relationship, thinking that, that's the way to go. And, and we have often done these things because we think, that maybe there's nobody else that's going to be that awesome, or there's nobody else that's going to be that good looking, or, maybe we're getting on in years, or maybe we've got 3 kids and we think nobody else is going to accept us with children. So all of these things are stories that we make up in our heads that make us hang on for dear life when maybe we shouldn't. So I'd like to hear from you. Is there any time, has there been any time when you've hung on for dear life? So I'm going to talk about a couple of my relationships, one in particular. I am going to talk about a time when I was dating a gentleman who was tall, blonde, and handsome. He was a Southern gentleman, and I had gotten out of a marriage, and it had been a while since I'd been in a relationship with anyone. And he was very good looking. He had a great job, drove a nice car, bought me nice things. So all of those things were the good. Those were the good. And then around 5 o'clock every day, he would start, maybe a little bit later, depending on the day, he would start to drink. And now it could be said he just drank beer, but I want to caution you, now this is for men and women. It doesn't matter what we drink. It doesn't matter what we smoke. If we're doing it habitually, in other words, every single day, we're an addict. So if you can't go a day without having a beer or 2 or 6, or you can't go a day without smoking a bowl or 6, you're an addict. You're addicted to a substance, and you're looking for something to make you feel whole, or something to allow you to cope with life. And now this gentleman was coping with his life. He had been abandoned by his parents emotionally. But, we've all had these types of experiences. So when we hang on to someone, when there's a couple of times that we need to look at the relationship. Are we hanging on when they're trying to get away? Are we hanging on when they're not particularly interested? Are we hanging on when they're mistreating us? Maybe coming home at 4 o'clock in the morning, smelling like another woman. Maybe we're hanging, or it could be a woman coming home at that hour. So, when we're hanging on, And the situation isn't great when we're being either put down or mistreated. These are all things that we need to look at. So let me just tell you this story. So he was a very good-looking man, and we had been dating, committed in a committed relationship for 3 years. Now, this was quite a few years ago. We used to drive down to Macon, Georgia to visit his parents, and he would put a cooler in the back seat between my two boys and ask them to hand him a beer. Adam, hand me a beer. Adam, hand me another beer. Now, not only is it illegal, but you know, Georgia 25 years ago was quite liberal, and a lot of people were driving while drinking. It's true. A lot of people were. Doesn't make it right. But anyway, I allowed this behavior to go on. I was horrified, but I didn't say anything. I might have mentioned, you know, this isn't a great idea, but I didn't say, hey, hell no, don't do that. I didn't make strong boundaries. It's because I wasn't in that place of confidence. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel good enough. So I accepted some bad behavior from this man that I wouldn't today. And now when we're in a place where we don't feel worthy or we don't feel enough, we have a tendency to be a little on the needy side, or maybe a lot needy. And when we're needy, we feel like there is nobody else. There can't be another person this great for me, or I'll never find another man like this, or I'll never find another woman like this. And that's not true. This is a story that we tell ourselves. We are making this up in our mind. Breathe. You are worthy. And there are plenty of good people, men and women out there. If the relationship isn't supporting you, if the person is abusing you, if the person is cheating on you, if the person is doing drugs in your house and you've got children, if the person is getting drunk, now this was what, you know, he was drinking every single night, and I watched him in front of my eyes. I watched him literally disappear. He became invisible. The being that he was gone, and he was taken over by his demons. And after a few beer, he was pretty nasty. And I cannot tell you the number of times that I would go to his house, have dinner. He would make a great dinner. We'd have a lovely evening. And then around 10:30, 11 o'clock, when he was becoming a monster, I'd have to go get my kids, pack their stuff up, and drive home. Now, we just lived in the same neighborhood, but I was doing this to my kids. I stayed in a relationship that wasn't supporting me. So when we stay in a relationship that doesn't support us, then we end up getting kind of the short end of the stick because we have no power. We've given it all away. Take a deep breath. So when we don't feel worthy, we have a tendency to cling to what we think that we need. But the truth is, when we love ourselves enough, we know we deserve to be respected. We have healthy boundaries. We don't put up with crap. We expect to be treated well. And the moment that we're not, we let the other person know. That's not acceptable. I cannot accept that kind of treatment. You give them a chance. You might tell them a second time, but if the behavior continues, chances are it isn't going to change. We are training our partners, our lovers, our husbands, our wives, every single day how we want to be treated. So how do you want to be treated? How are you treating you? We need to treat ourselves with respect, respect our bedtime, respect our schedule, respect our children's schedule, getting them to bed at a good time, making sure that they're cared for first before we're taking care of someone else. So all of those are really important. So there's a couple of other things that I wanted to just go over. Thank you. Okay, so when we don't have confidence, then we are needy. So confidence is something that comes from when we love ourselves, when we respect ourselves, when we have good boundaries. So when we are being inauthentic, in other words, we're people pleasing, we're trying to make them happy at our expense, that's not good. And that's what I call doing cartwheels. Doing cartwheels to keep someone. And so what we need to know is when somebody shows us who they are, we need to trust that. So what does that mean? When someone exhibits a particular type of behavior, like in a case with my Southern gentleman, he was an alcoholic and I knew it. I discounted it. I discounted my gut. I discounted my guidance. On the third date, I knew he was an alcoholic. And alcoholics are emotionally unavailable. And what is number one in their life? It is their drink, their beer, their booze, whatever it is they're drinking. That is who they count on and depend on and they love. They're not available emotionally to us. And the same thing goes, if we're the ones drinking. Okay. So thinking that they're going to change is a mistake. So you can't make anyone want to give up their addiction. And you think your love is going to cure them? I'm sorry, it will not. You wish for things to be different? Well, wishing and hoping for things to be different isn't going to change anything. We need to know when it's time to let go. When it's time to say, there's the door. This isn't working for me. It isn't going to work for me. No, I'm not staying and waiting for you the 10 or 12 years or whatever it is for you to get into rehab. I'm not going to do that. It's not my job. Okay. And then when you don't talk about what is bothering you, and see, we do this when we don't feel confident in ourselves, when we don't trust ourselves, when we don't respect ourselves, when we don't have good boundaries. It's so important for us to love and respect us, for others to love and respect us too. So when we don't talk about what is bothering us, there's this huge elephant in the room that nobody's talking about. I have a couple of clients, they've been married for 20-something years, and I have been trying, and all I can do is guide, trying to get both husband and wife to be honest with one another. I have said to them both, what's the worst that can happen? What is the absolute worst that can happen? She's not going to leave you. He's not going to leave you. They might be upset for a moment, for a time, maybe an hour or two, but if you don't have the guts to speak your truth, you're not being true to you. You're not being honest about who you are. And if you're not being honest, your relationship is a sham. It's a sham. It's not real. It's a fake relationship. You've heard about fake news? Well, this is a fake relationship. You got to be honest about how you feel. Now, it doesn't mean that you tear a strip off the other person. You can speak compassionately, but you have to be honest. Okay, and if you're a people pleaser trying to make the other person happy, well, what does that do? It leaves you feeling lost and wondering who you are because you spent your entire lifetime trying to make someone else happy, and that is not your responsibility. It is not our responsibility to make anyone else but us happy. We can't make our kids happy. We can't make our mothers happy as much as they might want us to. It doesn't work that way. The only one whose happiness we can control is ours. So remember what I said earlier about when someone shows you who they are, trust that. We have to trust what we see. So that's the thing, is that we have a tendency to not trust what we see and believe the words that they are saying. Actions speak louder than words. So, oh, I'm not a drunk, I'm not an alcoholic, and then they go off to the barn and drink 6 beers and hide the bottles. Or they go out with the guys to drink. So we have to trust our eyes. Listen, yes, but it's the actions that speak much louder than the words. Okay, let's see what else. And, you know, here's the other thing. The flip side of us pleasing others, trying to make them happy, we can't expect someone else to make us happy. That's not how it works. We have to make ourselves happy. So if you're unhappy and you're wanting a relationship to fulfill or complete you, there's a song, I think it's called Beautiful Dreamer. I'll sing it to you sometime. A relationship might make you thrilled and happy for a time, but it will not complete you permanently. It will not make you happy permanently. Loving ourselves, being happy with who we are, being honest with ourselves as well, that's where it's at. And then we're available to be in relationship with another person. All right, let's just see. Okay, everybody, so that is that. I have got to run. I have a class tonight to teach. I love you. Thank you so much for watching. So we need to know when it's time to let go. So if we're trying to hang on to someone who's trying to walk away, if we're trying to hang on to someone who continues to mistreat us or cheat on us, they aren't going to change. They've already shown you who they are. And it is not our job to fix someone who is addicted to a substance. It's not our job. They've got to want to do it themselves. And thinking that our love is going to change someone is a mistake. I'm Jennifer Elizabeth Masters. I am a soul sculptor. My website is jenniferelizabethmasters.com. And on my website, I have a free self-love quiz, so you can find out exactly how much do you love yourself, and a great self-love bundle that will support you for a nominal fee. And oh my goodness, we've got some really powerful stuff coming out for Valentine's Day. I can't wait. I love you. Thanks for watching, everyone.